Hey, what's up everyone? It's Mike here for you. Tonight I have a bowl slash accessory review, and this is the BroHood Phoenix Bowl Combo. This is a product I've been looking at for a while now. It's very popular over in Germany, but recently has become available here in the States. That being said, since it is a product I've been looking at for a while, Alex over there at 5-Star Hookah was nice enough to go ahead and send me this out, give you guys my thoughts on it. So a big thanks to Alex and everybody over there at 5starhookah.com for making this review possible. But here we go. Just going to kind of go over all the different pieces, how to put it together, and then come back in a little while and talk about it, show you how it's smoking. So here we go. First of all, it does come in a few different varieties. I've got the gold version, but as far as the bowl, nothing real fancy. Pretty much an Egyptian style unglazed clay bowl. We got some etchings on it. Hopefully you'll be able to see there on the bottom is the BroHood logo. But that pretty much covers the bowl. Now as far as the rest of it, this piece will be your top piece. It's where the coals will sit. This is going to end up going on top of the bowl, and then you've got your center post holding everything together. So to put it together, you take your center post, the very end unscrews, and then you're going to, trying to keep everything on cam, but put that bottom piece and then just screw that in. Just like so. And then eventually your top portion is going to sit on there. So the end result looks like that. But let's go ahead and pack something up. Tonight I'm smoking some Social Smoke Arabian Nights. I will say that this bowl works very well with pretty much any tobacco, except for I would not recommend Tangiers. Basically anything that you would smoke out of an Egyptian bowl, you can smoke out of this. But here we go. As far as packing, I have heard that 3/4 of the way full is the best. Personally, for me, I don't really see that, and I'll show you why here in just a few seconds. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to sprinkle everything in. I'm pretty much going to fill it to the top and just give you a nice even base there. Sorry, didn't mean to bump the stand. Alright, so basically just like that. Now, what you do is you're going to take your top piece, make sure you get it nice and level on there, but you're just going to give a little bit of pressure, a little bit of a twist, and it's going to sit on the bowl. Also, I didn't point out, you got the BroHood logo on the top piece there as well. But just like that. So when it's done, you can actually hold it upside down, and you know it's locked into place. Now this is why I couldn't understand why 3/4 of the way full would be better, because essentially your bowl only comes about here. So your coals are going to sit much higher than the tobacco actually is in the bowl. But we'll get into that in just a little bit. Anyway, that's your finished product. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the hookah, get it smoking, and I'll be back in just a little while. Be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. I've got the BroHood bowl going, so just going to talk about it a little bit and then show you how it performs. So here we go. Now, like I showed you in the last clip of the video, basically what's going on here is your coals are sitting on top. I will say from the get-go, you do want to use a high heat coal. You don't want something that produces very little heat. Me, I've got some cocoa jammers on here. Another thing I've noticed, it kind of depends whether you're using flats or cubes, but with flats I like to start off with 4. By the time I get to the second round, I'm generally down to 3. With cubes, I pretty much use 3 the entire session. But anyhow, you've got your coal sitting up here on top of the bottom portion of the coal holder, which sits on top of the bowl. Essentially, you have about an inch of space between where the coals are and where the tobacco is. So what's going on here is, like you saw in the last clip, the bottom portion of the holder is actually solid, but it does have slits in the top, which allows your heat to get down into the bowl. But what's really going on is that this portion that sits on top of the bowl is actually your heat element. You're getting all your heat from there. The bowl itself, I've been going about a half an hour now. The bowl is warm, but you can actually touch the bowl. Hold on to it for a little while. The metal part, not so much. You don't want to touch that because you will burn yourself. But anyway, that being in mind, you've got an inch of space between the tobacco and the coals. Some will say that it takes a while for this bowl to heat up initially. Well, yeah, that's pretty obvious with that much space between your tobacco and your coals. But I find a totally different smoking aspect to this bowl that I find with any other bowl. And that being is that it's not so much that it takes longer to heat up, but this bowl pretty much only works when you want it to. Now let me explain. Half an hour into the session, nothing in the base. Now I took a few pulls because hopefully you noticed that with each pull the clouds got thicker and thicker. That's pretty much the case anywhere. But in this case, what is actually going on is it's distributing heat evenly, but it's only doing so when you're taking pulls. You could smoke on this for a few minutes, get your fill, and then let it sit for a few minutes, say another 10 minutes, and what's going to happen is the bowl is going to cool down. You're still going to retain some heat here in the metal portion, but obviously with no activity it is going to cool down. So what's happening is that, say with a normal bowl or any other bowl with foil and coals, what's happening is as long as the coals are sitting on top of that foil, it's baking the tobacco. With this, it's only baking the tobacco as you're taking pulls. You let it sit for a few, it's going to cool down, and then you start all over again next time you're ready to start taking pulls, if that makes sense. So essentially what happens is that you actually retain flavor. Now, as far as the flavor of this bowl, like I said, it's pretty much an Egyptian bowl. Egyptian style anyway. So you're going to get the flavor that you get from any Egyptian bowl, and that's going to be dependent on other factors like what tobacco you're smoking, what flavor. Obviously some flavors are more stronger than others. But because you're only getting the heat as you're directly using it, you still save some of that flavor. If it was a foil and coal situation, it's baking the tobacco the entire time. You're going to get the dripping of the juice down your stem with an Egyptian bowl. With this, of course, you're still going to get drippage down the stem, but you're only getting your heat from it as you're taking the pulls, so that saves the flavor because it's not baking the tobacco all the time, continually. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, one bad thing I will say about this bowl is you cannot use a wind cover with this, or most of your standard wind covers anyway will not fit over the top of this thing. For me, that's not so much of an issue. Like I said, you're getting your heat from the bottom portion of the holder, which is metal, so that's always going to retain some heat as long as the coals are on there. So it kind of balances itself out without the use of a wind cover. You're still going to get to a certain point of your coals where they're just done and you got to put the next round on. So that's just a given with any bowl. But you know, some will say no wind cover. I hate it. To me, it's not an issue. So I think that's about it, folks. I want to be sure that I cover everything, but I don't want the video to get too long. So I think that's it. My thoughts on the bowl: I like it. I really do like it. I like the fact that it really only works when you want it to work. It gets hot when you want it to get hot. You want to go outside, do something for a few minutes or something, you take a few pulls, you get your fix, you got to go do something for a few minutes, go ahead. You don't have to worry about your tobacco sitting inside of the bowl scorching. So very nice in that department. I like it. Again, I wouldn't recommend Tangiers with this bowl, but if you are one of those people out there that have good results from Tangiers and an Egyptian bowl, you're probably going to find that this will work for you. So overall, it's a good product. I recommend it. Again, like I said, you have different variations as far as the colors go, so find one that matches your setup. You're good to go. You can find it at 5starhookah.com, folks. I'll leave a direct link in the description below. Again, a big thanks to Alex and everybody over there at 5starhookah.com for sending this my way. As always, everyone out there, thanks for watching. If you can, please comment, like, and subscribe. And until next time, smoke on.